Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the New York Giants have signed Adoree Jackson and bringing him back to the roster as he's played for the team the last three seasons in 2021, 2022, and 2023. And he's coming back after playing a total of 37 games in New York, starting in 36. Last year in 2023, he played 14 games with 14 starts. He had one interception, which he returned for a 76-yard touchdown. He had 8 passes defensed. He had 1 forced fumble with 63 tackles. 2022, he played 10 games with 10 starts, 7 passes defensed, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, returned for 1 yard, 51 tackles, and 2 tackles for loss. 2021 with the Giants, 13 games, 12 starts, 1 interception, returned for 10 yards, 8 passes defensed, with 62 tackles and 1 tackle for loss with the New York Giants. Look, this Giants team's looking pretty good this year. Their defense is looking really good. Of course, their defensive line is looking really good. Even their offense is not too bad. I like the addition of Devin Singletary having a great running back who had a great season with the Texans last year. Also like the draft pick of Malik Neighbors. They have a couple good wide receivers to throw to the ball, too, not just Malik Neighbors. You have Darius Slayton, Wendell Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. That's not a terrible wide receiver group. If you ask me, compared to last year, the wide receiver group the Giants had, as you'll have guys like Wendell Robinson and Jalen Hyatt get better as Wendell Robinson's going into his third NFL season, and Jalen Hyatt's going into his second season. I think those guys will be more developed, and I think they'll have better seasons with the Giants. And then you look, of course, adding in Malik Neighbors. He's going to be a great number 1 target. I also like Darius Slayton. So it's actually a very solid wide receiver group. So what's the problem with this Giants team? If you got a good wide receiver group, you got a great defense all around, I'll answer what the problem is. It's the quarterback. It's Daniel Jones. Look, I think what will happen with Daniel Jones will be interesting this year. Daniel Jones wasn't, last year he wasn't as terrible as people make it seem to be. He was bad. Daniel Jones was bad, and I think why people had the reaction they did is because the season we saw Daniel Jones have before. Daniel Jones in 2022 looked completely different. 2022 with the Giants, 16 games, 16 starts. The team went 9-6-1, made the playoffs for the first time in years, first time in the Dan Jones era. He threw 317 for 472, completion percentage of 67%. He threw 3,205 passing yards with 15 passing touchdowns and 5 interceptions thrown, which is an interception percent of 1.1. That is the lowest of his career by far. And also, in the 2022 season, he actually did a pretty good job running the football. Had 243 rushing yards in 2022. But then go into 2023, of course, he has the injuries that made him miss most of the season. So he plays only 6 games with 6 starts. The team goes 1-5. He throws 108 for 160, completion percentage 65.5. So the completion percentage actually was not that bad. That was actually pretty good. It actually got better compared to 2022. But he throws 909 passing yards in 6 games. That's almost half of what he had that's almost half of the amount of games he had in 2022. So in 2022, he has 16 games, so it's 3,205 passing yards. And then 6 games in 2023, he throws 909. You could imagine maybe if he had played 8 games, I don't think it would have been. It wouldn't be close to even halfway there. Maybe at the most he would have gotten 600 passing yards. He would not got 600 passing yards. Let's just say if he gets in the area of 400 to 500 passing yards in 2 games, if he would have played 8 games, then he would have been at 1,300, 1,400 passing yards halfway through the season. If you just go by numbers, then he would have ended up potentially, just by pace, potentially if he played 16 games like he did in 2022, he maybe ends up with 2,600. He would have ended up in the area of 2,600 to 2,800 passing yards, which is nowhere close to, or I wouldn't say nowhere close, but that wouldn't be close to what he had in 2022 at 3,205 passing yards. Also, it was touchdown passes. He was barely throwing any touchdown passes. 2 passing touchdowns in 2023. And also, he threw 6 interceptions. This is a guy we saw only throw 5 interceptions in 2022. Had an amazing 1.1 interception percentage for the New York Giants in 2022. And then 2023, it goes up to 3.1 interception percentage and throws 6 in 6 games. This guy the season before threw only 5 in 16 games, then goes from throwing 6 in 6 games. And then rushing yards, he had 167 rushing yards in 2023. So could you see the Giants? Could you see him turn around things? Look, I'm not going to rule it out. Daniel Jones could turn things around, but I honestly doubt it. But I like I like the defensive addition for the Giants. I like the addition of Adoree Jackson. I think he's a good addition. This defense looks even better than it already did when this is a defense that actually looks pretty good going into the season. And I talked about what I like about the offense already. The only problem is quarterback. If Daniel Jones with a better wide receiver group, if you ask me, this is a better wide receiver group than Daniel Jones had in 2022 in New York when he had 3,200 passing yards and 15 passing touchdowns. This is a better wide receiver group than he had in 2022. So, honestly, if we could see Daniel Jones, have a season like he did in 2022, which I doubt it happens, but if it did, I think Daniel Jones has if he got back to what we saw in 2022, which I honestly doubt it, but if he did, honestly, he could be better than he was in 2022, just the fact that he has more targets. That offense was centered around Saquon Barkley and getting him the football. This is an offense that now Devin Singletary is the number 1 back. Obviously, he's a running back that you want to get the ball to, but, he's also a guy that, I think they'll be running the ball less than they were last year, and they have a better wide receiver group than they do. So I think Daniel Jones is a big if this year. We'll see what happens. I think he's going to be terrible, and I think that's going to be the only holdback of this Giants team this year will be him. I like the addition of Adoree Jackson. I think he'll be great for this defense, or the re-addition, as he's been on the team for the last 3 years. He's just back now. But some of the guys they brought in this offseason, adding in Brian Burns, some of the other additions. So this defense is going to be good. I think offensively, if you don't bring up the quarterback with their running back and their wide receiver group, good offense. I think that's the only question with this Giants team is at the quarterback position. But let me know your thoughts on the New York Giants bringing back Adoree Jackson, a guy who has definitely been very good in his career as a cornerback, was the 18th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft as well. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.